Maneva na sema PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV de osia dem yopo.
The accusation is that in opposition you said no sourcing in government is being undertaken. What's the response to that? And I'm sure you've been measuring the public reactions to that as well.
We have been measuring, and I should say that this discussion, we need to premise it from the work of the Fourth Estate. This was a supposedly some breaking news.
Investigative.
Yes. No, I don't think they said investigative. And you see, for me, I want to commend the Fourth Estate because I like people who are consistent. There was a time in this country when journalists couldn't speak up. A lot of people were afraid for their lives. People practically could not talk about scandals. And the Fourth Estate then emerged. And to their credit, you had the NSS scandal, but for them, we wouldn't know that CEOs were buying $170,000 watches. And so we credit them. The SML deal was uncovered by the Fourth Estate. And so we credit them with these things. But it's important to say that in the story as published by the Fourth Estate, they are not alleging corruption on the part of government. That point is very instructive to make. I've read, and I have here with me the release by the Fourth Estate. Nowhere in the 11-page story are they alleging corruption or any wrongdoing on the part of government. In fact, to the credit of the NPP, they are also not alleging corruption. Or, as at yesterday, I don't know whether this morning Kofi Tonto will make those allegations, but as at yesterday, listening to the minority and members of the NPP, nobody has alleged that government has done anything wrong. What the NPP and many people are saying is that the NDC spoke against sole sourcing. And so why have you come to use that method in your procurement? I think that is the point. And I want to start this discussion on that premise so that we are all on the same page and we don't muddy the waters as if some corruption or some scandal has been discovered. That is not the case. Now, the NDC did not just say that single sourcing as a form of procurement was bad. If it was bad in the past, it is bad now. We cannot all of a sudden change our position. We are a political party with principles. We are led by a president who has consistently demonstrated that he has the ability to stomach dissenting opinion. What was the NDC's position when we were in power? And I've seen yesterday on
there are videos of
in fact,
the current president in opposition.
My own video
as well as
has come
snipers
out,
of the NDC manifesto.
Yes, yes. So what was the NDC's position? The NDC's position is that single source contracts linked to persons who are close to power are contracts which raises the basis to ask questions and say that this contract may be fraught with corruption. That position has not changed. The NDC's position is that single source contracts, which are inflated above the market's value, are things that we need to question. And I have here with me a press conference addressed by Sami Jenfi on August 2024 on the issue of single source contracts. In paragraph 18 of the said press conference, this is the NDC's position. Indeed, paragraph 65 of the performance audit report by the Auditor General on the construction of cocoa roads revealed that Cocoa Board did not rigorously analyze its procurement options for value for money, but sought approval from PPA for single sourcing and restricted tendering, thus procuring the contracts which were 3 times more expensive than it could have been obtained through competitive tendering. This was the position of the NDC.
That's the position?
Yes.
You listen and watch this, the inserts that are emerging now.
So we are saying that.
It says the NDC is against
when you
sole source contract.
When you resort to single source, as your major means of procurement, there is no evidence for value for money. So that was one position we made, and we should not, we will not be seen to be changing it. In the fourth estate, what they call expose, which is not an expose really, they never alleged that the market value of these contracts were above the contract sum awarded. In fact, the NPP has not made that argument as well. So the NDC's position has not changed. Now, it is true that the NDC, while in power, called out the NPP for single source contracts. What were some of the things we called them out on? It was the ambulance spare part contract, which was awarded to persons close to the president's daughter then. And we said at the time when the company had not even been formed. So we said that this raises issues of corruption. The Sunyani Rehabilitation Phase 1, awarded to a company called Resource Access Limited, close or associated with the brother of the vice president. That position cannot change merely because we are in power. Again, the cocoa roads, which I have told you that the Auditor General, then appointed by Nanado himself, said that Cocoa Board did not do a rigorous examination. We are not talking about the same things. If you are saying, and I mean, this is a conversation that we can be having within the bigger context and say that we think that you should have used it. But let me show you why the government sought to use single source contracts for these things. One, the big push is a special project, not like what the NPP will question construction of year of roads. The big push is not a government that merely wants to construct roads. The big push is a policy decision of this government to expand this country into what we call 12 economic zones.
12 economic zones?
12 economic zones. So they are not merely roads being constructed in just communities. They are roads being constructed to link regional capitals to one another for the purposes of boosting agriculture. We have been in this country, and for the longest time, we have been saying that food is being imported. Tomato, yesterday or this week, we were discussing the Burkina Faso issues. Why? One of the major issues are the road networks from our farm gates to the market. And so the big push is a policy position that the government took and said that let's link these 12 areas that we have classified as economic zones together. Now, if we were to go through competitive tendering, it would take approximately between 12 to 18 months to even get a contract awarded. In fact, to evidence this assertion, if you recall, the NDC in the 2025 budget said that we were going to restore road toll. Do you know that the system is going through a competitive tendering? And
Still?
for 7 months.
Because that has delayed.
Yes, for 7 months. It's going through the processes. Yesterday, I had the minority holding a press conference on it and saying that, for 1 year, we haven't heard of anything on the road toll. Because for 7 months, it's been going through competitive tendering. And that is why we haven't been able to award the contract. Now, this is the issue. We must begin to ask that when we zone these areas, what was the aim? The aim of the president is that within a space of 18 to 24 months, Ghanaians should have some tangible roads. And so we needed to do that, one, by empowering local contractors. How many times have we not spoken about everything in this country being owned by foreigners? How many times have we not said that foreigners do not, have practically hijacked our country? Just last month, there was a discussion on China Mall and other
special
people
to make sure that you empower local contractors?
Local companies. So unless the argument is that there is some wrongdoing somewhere, that there is some act of corruption, that these contractors are somehow linked to the families of these people, then I think that we ought to elevate the discussion a bit. Now, it's important to also say that beyond even empowering the local contractors, you will recall that when the NDC came into power, in fact, less than a month after the NDC came into power, many communities went on rampage, saying that their road networks were bad. I will give you the example of Pokwase-Masaman Road, which the NPP started. People were on the neck of this government and said, we want it finished. Do you think that if we were going through competitive tendering, that contract could have been novated and renegotiated for work to progress?
That's by Maripoma.
Yes, for work to progress the way it's progressing. And so while we hear the feedback, we in the NDC will not take the posturing of the NPP that anytime people raise issues in your government, you just rubbish them. No. We understand that as a government, we have an obligation to bring the facts to the people. We understand that as a government, when people ask legitimate questions, and rightly so, they owe it, we owe it a duty to them to respond to these things. And that's exactly what we are doing. Now, having even said that, you know that when you take our friends on the other side, they say, and you play the video of the minority, they say, oh, the NDC in the past, even if you were not opposed to the single source, you said that they were so opaque. What we have done is that we have learned from our checkered history of how the NPP governed this country. And collectively, as a party and as a government, we have vowed never to go the route of the NPP. So what did we do? This contract or this expose that we are discussing, Roland, it was not a discovery made by the Fourth Estate by some investigative piece. What happened? The Fourth Estate wrote to the Ministry of Roads and Highway and the Ghana Highway Authority, pursuant to the Right to Information Act. And they were supplied these information.
So this public info?
This is public information.
But they have a right to question it.
And rightly so, they have a right to question. Nobody should take away their right. And I want to say even here that even after this publication, I can assure you that Sule Ibrahim's life will not be threatened. He doesn't have to go to South Africa like Manasseh did in the past. His family doesn't have to live in fear like the families of Ahmed Swale. We are here to engage, to listen to different perspectives. We are here, and I would wish that if there are, anything that he wants to draw government's attention to in these contracts, we are welcoming. But let me say that 23, do you know 23? The
figure 23?
Yes, 23. Out of the 54 lots of contracts awarded, that is under discussion. These contracts were awarded by single source under the previous NPP administration.
23?
23 out of the 54. And the NDC is not on record anywhere to have opposed this. I can give you a classical example of the Swame interchange. In fact, the Parliamentary Hansard says that the NDC then, led by the ranking on roads, who is currently the roads minister, supported that. So let's not mix the issue merely because we called out government for their corrupt acts, which were shrouded in single source contracts. We should not come to the conclusion that, the NDC said all single source contracts were wrong.
And as you have a minute to wrap up, what about the question that they've been posing over the last 24 hours? That it smacks of hypocrisy, the position of you, government, and the NDC entirely, as well as its assigns, that, well, the NPP under Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia undertook key projects as well and through single source contracting, pursuant to Section 40 of the PPA Act, but was criticized, of course, you say genuinely, but also they also say unfairly by you in opposition.
You see, that's what I'm saying, that let's not mix the issue. That merely because people criticize corrupt acts, shrouded in single source contracts, you have to lump the issue. I've given you a number of examples. That is the ambulance issue. The National Cathedral, where David Ajayi is a close associate of Gabi. Single source, the rehabilitation of the Sunyani Airport, and all that. One teacher, one laptop, and all those things, which later we were vindicated. So I'm not saying that people should not criticize government. By all means, criticize government. And I can tell you that I'm proud to speak for a president that says and calls on civil society and say, criticize us. For we see those things as feedback to better governance. But having said that, this was not shrouded in opacity. I think that the MP who spoke, Osenyako, I'm told he's the MP for
Kennedy.
I think he has to get his research assistants to get to work for him.
No, you can't say. He's been a long-standing member of Parliament, respectfully.
No, I mean, there's nothing disrespectful about this. I mean, he has to get his because...
What's your point?
At the time of holding the press conference and saying that government should make the details of these contracts available, these contracts were already on the website of the Ministry of Roads and Highways. So a simple Google search would have shown it. Let me conclude and wrap up my first round of submission before I rebut by saying that the NDC is committed to bringing some new standards in governance. The NDC would not see criticisms and feedback as something that people merely want us bad. The citizens want road. They are in a hurry. Indeed, people have the right to legitimately ask whether this is the method, however legal it is for you to procure this. But in the absence of corruption, in the absence of anything to show that the value of the contract is inflated, I think that what we should be doing is to commend His Excellency the President for this vision. That for a long time, somebody says that let's zone our country into 12 economic zones. And within a record time of 24 months, let's try and build as much roads as we can. In the absence of corruption, I think that we ought to salute President Mahama. Of course, in our quest to build our nation, but are these not the guys?
Please wrap up.
I'm wrapping up.
10 minutes. Your time is up. Please,
are these not the guys who told us that they don't chew roads? And that the Circle Dubai roads were inflated? That whole airport was inflated, that it was not so material to build UGMC, that all the hospitals that we were building were nothing, and later the president became vindicated. I think, just like Kwame Nkrumah, there is one consistent script. But what I can assure the people of Ghana, that this government in 1 year, 3 months, have not recorded a single scandal. It is not by chance. It shows you a leader who is intentional, a leader who is committed to doing the right thing, a leader whose quest to develop the road networks of this country should not be compromised. And that is noteworthy. And I think that everybody would agree with me. I know even Kofi Tonto will agree with me.
On that note of the vote of thanks, Solo, what do you make of it? You've been watching. Why are you?
What can I say? You see?
And I'm sure over the last 24 hours, you've been monitoring the media airways as well as what the public commentary have been. And then the responses to the minority and then also the fourth estate, which has begun by the roads minister.
The good thing is that the United Party is an opposition party. We are fighting and working so hard to also attract a lot of votes. I dare say that anytime the NPP speaks, it advantages the United Party.
So you can make those conclusions. Why?
I'm so happy. I will still encourage them to be speaking more, to be conducting a lot of these press conferences so that it inures to the benefit of the United Party. Why do I say so? I couldn't believe it. That's why I was laughing. That my brother Toto will be the one to be doing this.
Why can't he be?
Why should he be the one doing this? Remember, they left power only some 13 months ago.
No, what is wrong with that, sir?
And all the things that he said are a summary of the administration that he left.
Not a description of the NDC?
One fine Tuesday morning, at exactly 9:58 a.m., it was in August. It was in August 2016. I woke up about to brush my teeth and I saw President Kufuor post on his wall. There will be no soul sourcing.
August 2016?
August 2016, 9:58 a.m. in the morning, very early, sharp.
Tuesday?
It was a Tuesday, a beautiful Tuesday. Then the president, the then candidate, Akufo-Addo, assured all of us.
He posted this?
He posted it on his wall.
Where's the post?
Oh, you see?
I have it here.
You also have it there?
Yes, that's it.
Oh, sometimes Kofi too has it.
Please.
I can send it to you if you don't have it. I'll send it to you.
You have my number.
Oh, I have. I'll send
Please,
it to you.
please, not to truncate Solo.
Then the then candidate assured all of us that there will be no source.
Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
Nana Akufo-Addo. He came to power, and between 2017 to 2024, almost 100% of his contracts went through sole sourcing.
No, I don't understand.
I thought Kofi was going to debunk that assertion, that when we were in power, we never gave any contract under sole sourcing, or majority of our contracts were not under sole sourcing. Then we will be discussing or putting the matters in the right perspective. But what he has done this morning is to draw all of us into the political arena to be reminding ourselves of what has taken place. Look, I am not a fan of sole sourcing.
You don't like sole sourcing?
Because it has its own risks. So I don't have any problem with people that questions the idea of sole sourcing. However, the impression that I gathered from the whole business of expose by the fourth estate was some scandal that has happened at the Rose Ministry. So I was very curious. Honestly, I was waiting with bated breath to know what really has happened.
Scandal.
So the scandal, because that was what they told us. And the prelude was being shared by members of the New Patriotic Party.
We call it promo.
Promo. So I don't know whether there was a chemistry between the Fourth Estate organization and the New Patriotic Party.
You cannot make those
because they were the ones sharing.
Media organization,
Yes,
respectfully, we also have to accord them that.
No, I accord it. That's why I said I don't have any problem with the Fourth Estate. They were doing their job. The only thing that has tainted that job is that it was as though they were doing it in cahoot with the New Patriotic Party. Because when they brought it, and mind you, the picture they associated with their promo was Abuja and the president. So clearly, it was a teaser to let us know that something hot was on the mountain. Now, this morning, we have been told by Kofi Tonto that in the coming days, they are going to serialize all the contractors that are behind the big push. Just to confirm that indeed there is some sort of collaborative work between them, collusion between them and the Fourth Estate. That's the impression that he created this morning. Because I'm coming when you were speaking. No, take notes, Kofi, take notes, Kofi, don't be in a hurry. We are yet going there. I mean, this thing you like doing it.
Sorry.
We will get there.
Sorry.
You understand? Because, first of all, it was not the NPP that started this whole business of scandal. The teaser was given to us by the Fourth Estate. However, it was the NPP that immediately after the so-called expose ran a press conference on it and said nothing.
Oh, Solo, why are you trying to draw in the NPP? It's
Practically, they said nothing. And interestingly, you know, at the press conference, the former Rose minister was there, as I'm watching. Do you know why he decided not to speak this time? And allowed Kennedy Osenyaku to what ranking? When you have a minister who was in charge of that sector, right by you are going to be the one speaking? Does it not prick your mind that you have an immediate minister of roads and highways who has the benefit of data to be in the right position to be speaking to the matters at the ministry? Don't forget, we are talking about a ministry. He left office not long ago. He was there, and his sons were at his back.
Whose sons?
Asanso Boache. Listening to the lies that were being perpetrated by Kennedy Osenyaku. In any case, as a country, if we believe that sole sourcing is not good, remember the Procurement Act was given to us by the very NPP. That it
was given to us by the Parliament.
The Parliament of Ghana under the NPP regime, 2003, remember? And they deliberately inserted the idea of sole sourcing. So if as a country, we believe that it is no more useful, we just have to take it out.
We amend?
We amend. But you cannot do without social because there will be certain skills that are only peculiar to certain entities. The scale of it is what we must be doing very well. But you see, the current minister, gave certain information that I believe that it is true, I'm here to verify, that he says that between 2017 to 2024, the NPP almost gave all contracts as sole source contracts. Now, if you take it as almost near 100%, and he is doing 44%, then that is a monumental achievement by all standards.
Well, the NPP's position is that you said it's not good. So
no, I'm coming.
Even as if we give it above a certain percentage that you are giving it, we should go by your words.
No, but the point is that if I took over a sector that was giving that contract a sole sourcing in 100% position, and I reduce it to 44, then that is a good start. Or you are not getting the point. You took over 100%, you have reduced it to 44. So what we have to urge him on is that going forward, it must continuously go down.
44 down.
Down to the barest minimum. But they must not be the ones to be preaching to us about why there is no need for anybody to undertake sole sourcing when you have been doing sole sourcing all your life. Look at somebody like, we are talking about Rose and his contracts. We were in this country when we started year of road 2017, year of road 2018, year of road 2019, year of road 2020.
The COVID year. Yeah.
The very roads that we are discussing today were supposed to have been finished the last 4 years. People took our monies and decided not to work on the roads.
Oh, that's a blanket.
No, that is the truth. Remember the $750 million Exim guarantee loan that we took to deal with the Ofankon road. They stole the money. We were talking about stealing.
What do you mean by stole?
But the finance minister recently, Atoforsi, told us that money, they cannot trace what they used the money for.
So maybe it was applied somewhere.
It never applied to anything. It is still in their pocket. They must be doing thorough investigation. I have said time with that number that Beatrice and her people will go down with these people if they decide to cover up for them. Because they have stolen from us.
No, you...
last year, didn't the president said they should conduct a forensic audit into the 30th All Africa Games? And that the report will be ready by the middle of December 2025. Have you gotten it? Look, one to me who is facing prosecution today. And did I hear talking about scammers and then sealers and so on and so on? One to me that was given a 20-kilometer road, cocoa road, to be constructed, to be bringing cocoa into the cities or the port. He took the money and never did the road.
One to me.
$45-something million.
Cocoa Road?
Cocoa Road. Did he construct it? What have we been told here? Look, to be able to further discuss, and he brought an issue. Fortunately, I'm also in the space. I did land economy for Christ's sake, and I work closely with road contractors. I've done project management before. This fixation of 9 kilometers and you just quickly divided by...
It's a 1.2 million for feeder road.
Who thought Kofi Tonto that?
You mean
and it's not him alone. A lot of NPP people on their wall, then they will write the kilometers. Even Brimer, the media foundation, he was also dabbling in that. I say, hey,
it's not good.
If you don't understand something, just go into the sector, find engineers. At least you have the benefit of the Ghana highways, or even people who have done engineering, road construction, civil engineers, or quantity surveyors. They will be able to give you as to why certain kilometers have to have higher values than the others. You spoke of the scope of work. If the places...
The base, the sub-base.
Yeah, you know it. I know you was talking about that. In spite of that, and I don't know you to be a dumb, I know you to be a serious-minded person. So I don't expect you to be going the way and manner some people on the altar of politics will be doing to jeopardize their future integrity. I don't expect you to be doing that.
Well, he said that the contract he has on his phone.
The contract does not specify the scope of work. Does he know the bridges that will be on the road? Does he know the thickness of the does he know all the obstacles that will be has to be overcome? You don't know the scope, and then you are talking just like that. No, anyway, he's a social scientist. We are talking about engineering here, and the very, very best people to be dealing with issues of engineering must be the engineers. Now, I am saying that if there is any one minister who has impressed me in this administration, is Governor Kwame Abuja. You know what?
Kwame Abuja.
He has impressed me. So his consistency has been phenomenal. I followed him closely when he was in opposition as a ranking member, and I've continued to follow him. Because always I want to know whether people are consistent with their position. This whole big push project, when the president was cutting the saw that, is it Afienya or so? I don't know whether it was Afienya or Afienya Road.
As a start.
He made certain... he gave certain reasons why they would settle on a particular contractor, if you remember.
Caveat.
Then he was doing what we call restricted tendering. He was giving an indication that the big push was going to be undertaken by restricted tendering. First of all, he said they needed contractors that could build the roads with the highest quality, with speed, and also Ghanaians. When somebody gives you these criteria, what he has done is that the contract will be awarded based on restriction.
So is that when you said no wheelbarrow road?
But why must we get a lot of the guys over here are wheelbarrow contractors? They go and take the roads. All that they do is that they don't do anything, and they go and claim money. Now, what the big push? Which contractors have they been given? Is it not Ghanaians?
You're sure?
I am always for contract being given to Ghanaians, no matter what. Look, me, when I go for a tender in this country and I go with a foreigner and you mistakenly give it to a foreigner, for the rest of our life, you wear one pant. But I realize I will take you on because I am a Ghanaian, because that foreigner is not better off than I do. So why must you give the contract to the foreigner? They have given it to Ghanaians, which is a good thing. Then the second thing that we must praise Agboja on is that he said they use their internal staffs to beat the contract values down. This I am going to do further verification. If it is true, then Agboja has done something monumental. That they use their internal engineers to do the design, to do the survey, and to do the costing. And because of that, they reduce the cost of this construction by 5%. Why would I blame Agboja for doing this? That for reducing the cost of the contract, I have to castigate him? No way. It cannot happen. And I didn't hear the minority, and at least as of now, the minority NPP has not even come out to say that what Agboja said in that regard was a lie.
Conclude for me.
So in conclusion, I would say that the ministry, the fourth estate, yes, they have the right to do what they did, but in doing so, they must always present the right position. The minister has said that, contrary to their claim that 76% of the road contracts were awarded through sole sourcing, it is rather 44%. It's for them to reconcile with the ministry and then look at the forward match. Who is lying? Is it that they lied or the minister lied? I believe that the minister has provided all the necessary data to back his claim. Again, we have not been told that as a result of the sole sourcing, prices have been inflated. The contract values have been inflated. To that extent, if indeed by sole sourcing they were able to reduce the pricing, then why would anybody have an issue? Again, is it the case that the contractors that have been selected would aid in fast-tracking these projects? I've been using Accra Cape Coast Road, and I've been seeing the sort of thing that is going on there. You understand? And I believe that we must encourage this minister. He has been transparent, and he needs to be commended in that regard.
Dedi kama amena PENDREAM TV ase. Now so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.